You like Huey Lewis in the news?
They're okay.
He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but I think Huey has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. When you go to a sporting event, it doesn't matter the hype, it doesn't matter the music, it doesn't matter the salaries of the athletes or the names or the franchises or the endorsements. All that matters is the scoreboard. All that matters is the end of the day, who won and who lost. And that's just a rule for life. This is pretty famous, actually, in sports. A lot of athletes take lower salaries in order to get on winning teams. Michael Jordan was famously underpaid most of his career because he wanted championships. And now Jordan's got all those rings on those knuckles, right? That's all that matters. In the end, he's a legend. So you got to look at who's racking up W's. And the reality is Laura Loomer is racking up a ton of W's in the Trump era, certainly with the exposing of Hunter Biden and his Secret Service detail and his ultra-luxurious vacation to South Africa when he was claiming in a court in America that he was dead broke. America spending tens of millions of dollars on sick, degenerate bastard Hunter Biden's Secret Service. This was a Laura Loomer story that she broke, and then she got Hunter Biden's Secret Service totally defunded, which I view as an excellent result. This coming along with the Secret Service for other degenerates from the Biden family getting defunded as well. Joe Biden's daughter, why is that? Why does Ashley Biden need Secret Service around? Well, I guess both Biden kids need the Secret Service to go clean up after themselves. Hunter Biden leaving guns in trash cans. Ashley Biden losing her diary. Remember, shower time with daddy. Anyway. The point is that Laura Loomer has been effective in that and other stories in the first Trump administration in changing actual policy of the country. I mean, getting the Secret Service defunded for Hunter Biden is a big deal. That changes things. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Loomer might have had her biggest week yet. Here we go. Multiple firings on Trump's National Security Council after Loomer visit. This from Axios. Let's read. Several members of President Trump's embattled National Security Council have been fired. A U.S. official and second source familiar told Axios on Thursday. Why it matters. The firings come a day after conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer. I'm just reading the article, okay? They do that kind of stuff. They can't just print the person's name. That's entirely subjective. Also, conspiracy theorists are up 1,000 to 0. So I don't know how that's even a slur at these days. A conspiracy theorist is just someone who's going to be right in the future. So whatever. I'm just reading the article. I hate it. I hate it. It's pejoratives used to try and demean. Anyway, she visited the Oval Office to talk to Trump. Axios has not yet confirmed whether the firings were directly linked to that incident, but the source familiar said they are being labeled as being labeled as an anti-neocon move. In conversation with reporters on Air Force One, Trump confirmed the firings. We're going to let go of people we don't like, or people that take advantage of us, or people that have loyalties to somebody else. Trump praised Loomer and says she makes recommendations, and sometimes I listen. I listen to everybody, and then I make a decision. Trump said Loomer recommended that some people lose their jobs at the White House, denied that she had anything to do with the firings. The U.S. official said Loomer is furious at neocons that had slipped through the vetting process in the administration, referred to hawkish foreign policy views commonly associated with the Bush administration. She went to the White House yesterday and presented him with her research and evidence. An official said Loomer's visit was reported by the New York Times. The official suspected the firings were linked to Loomer's visit, but she wasn't certain. The U.S. official named 3 senior NSC, National Security Council, is what that means, members who had been fired, shaping up to be a bloodbath. Axios is seeking additional information. Source familiar said that people had been fired, possibly many as 10, including senior directors. NSC spokesperson declined to comment. Okay, let's establish a couple things here. One, I know it's very old news, but this whole Signalgate thing. How does the most venomous, toxic anti-Trump reporter in all of DC get added to a secret planning chat for on a very private messaging app, right? Signal has a lot of infrastructure built into it. On purpose. How does that happen on purpose? And if it happens on accident, then who added that reporter? And did somebody do it in order to humiliate the Trump administration? Because it certainly wasn't a pretty news cycle, right? It wasn't a good thing. Trump called it a mistake. Everyone called it a mistake. Number two, every single Trump impeachment or every single Trump scam came from this like dark, deep intel organ and the NSC, National Security Council. This is where Trump impeachment number one came from. They were listening in on his phone calls. They were all these whistleblowers running to Congress for like fake, made up garbage. They released all the transcripts. There's nothing wrong with what President Trump did, but he was sabotaged from the inside. And this is what happened in the first administration. Would have been better to have just fired these people, gotten rid of all of these CIA spooks and all these whistleblowers, so-called. It'd be just better. People hate Donald Trump. They get held over. The federal government is a massive, massive corporation with 2 million employees, the largest in the world. And so people slip through the cracks, and this is what Laura Loomer is doing. And it's working. Trump now fires his NSA chief. MAGA star linked to mass bloodletting on his security team celebrates. So she did it. And she went in, she met with Trump, and then they got fired. Let's go ahead and read the rationale here from Laura Loomer, and then we'll play you this clip that proves that she might be right. I mean, listen, if judge me by my enemies. If MSNBC is like screaming and crying about this, then I think that maybe you're over the target. NSA Director Tim Haw and his deputy Wendy Noble have been disloyal to President Trump, and that's why they've been fired. As a Biden appointee, General Haw had no place in serving the Trump administration, given the fact that he was handpicked by General Milley, who was accused of committing treason by President Trump, and who's had his portraits ripped down, his security clearance stripped, and has actually been like demoted effectively at the Pentagon. Why would we want an NSA director who is referred to Biden after being hand-selected by Milley, who told China that he would be on the side with them over Trump? The vetters who have been more critical, the vetters should have been more critical, given the fact that the Pentagon revoked the security detail and clearance for retired General Mark Milley, who called President Trump a fascist. Why would we want Milley's handpicked choice for NSA director? We do not. And he was referred for firing. Given the fact that the NSA is arguably the most powerful intel agency in the world, we cannot allow a Joe Biden nominee to hold that position. Thus, Haw was fired today, along with his Obama-loving protege, Wendy Noble. This is called vetting. His deputy, Wendy Noble, is a protege of Trump hater James Clapper, who frankly belongs in prison. President Trump has accused Clapper of spying on his campaign, and Clapper falsely accused the Russians of stealing the election in favor of Trump. James Clapper is a traitor to the country. He's also a liar to Congress. He should be put in prison. That's an absolute fact. Of course, Wendy Noble was referred for firing. She is a Trump hater who was nominated by Joe Biden. Additionally, Wendy Noble spent her time at NSA promoting DEI. Their firings are a blessing to the American people. Thank you, President Trump, for being receptive to the vetting materials provided to you, and thank you for firing these holdovers. Vetting matters. Here are the receipts. I mean, the NSA is like an unbelievably powerful organ inside of the federal government, and this just makes a ton of sense. President Trump deserves a chance at success. You understand? Like, how is this even remotely controversial? President Trump is vested the full powers of the executive. Everybody who works inside of the federal government works for President Trump, unless, of course, they're in the courts or with Congress. But the vast majority of workers work for the federal government that is under the power of the chief executive, and he can hire and fire at will, working at the pleasure of the president. You ever heard of that? So it just doesn't matter, like, why, but this is a good reason why. So I'm totally in favor of this. I don't see why this is a problem at all. Here's President Trump on Laura Loomer.
I saw her yesterday for a little while. She makes recommendations of things and people. And sometimes I listen to those recommendations. She'll always have something to say, usually very constructive.
What did she recommend?
She recommended certain people for jobs.
Adding to the administration, not
Who did she
not
recommend?
firing.
Well, she'll recommend that too. But yesterday she recommended some people for jobs.
Did she have anything to do with the NSC aides who were ousted?
No, not at all.
Do you know how many, sir? Do you know how many from the NSC?
Not many.
Who did Laura recommend hiring?
Well, I don't want to say that, but she's recommended some good people over the years. She's been in the party a long time. She's done a good job.
Okay, so this is the way that it goes. And more importantly, this is how you protect a presidency from what happened the last time. The problem with having a single party superstate in Washington, D.C. is that the vast majority of people that want to work in D.C. are going to hate you if you're the opposing party. It's going to be hard to root them out, like getting rats out of a sewer. So it's tough. Now, everybody is losing their minds over this. It seems like normal, right? Like the president should get people that like don't want him to fail in his administration. But everybody in the media, from Caitlin Collins to MSNBC, Jen Psaki, they're all like losing their effing minds over this. They're freaking out. Scott Pressler is very angry with me tonight. It's funny. He just look a lot like Scott Pressler. So judge people by their enemies. That's all I'm saying. All right. It's funny, like we win and we do all this hard work to win, and then we lose by refusing to have the will to power, the will to govern. That should stop. We should not lose because we refuse to actually protect what we've fought for. We fought for a Trump presidency. It'll all get destroyed with the wrong people in office. So that's it. Laura Loomer saying, I literally have a binder full of receipts. I know who's loyal and I know who's disloyal. And now she's bringing that to bear into the White House. So it's important. I like everybody back this up. There's nothing wrong. It does seem as though the media outrage, which has been ceaseless and deafening, sure makes a lot of sense. Sure makes a lot of sense if these individuals were leaking to the press. You know, Laura Loomer's in the White House and it was immediately leaked to reporters. You know, it does let you know exactly how leaky the ship is, right? You found this out like instantly. If these people were leaking to the press, if they were sniping to the media's raging about it. So it does seem like they've lost assets here. And so, yeah, when it's infected, you push on it, it hurts, you know? It squeals. So Trump fires people at Trump fires these Biden holdovers and the media squeals. What does that tell you? Trump's fired like thousands and thousands of people. Every president does. But they're really losing it on this one. Seems like you're over the target. We're over the target on this channel. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Benny. See ya.